hope you've had an amazing weekend like I did. Yeah. Though I'm not sharing any details, but yeah, I've had an amazing, great weekend. Yeah, so it's your friend and host, Wise Banda here, back again for another episode. Depending on where you're listening this from, whether it's on the podcast or on the channel. But I'm glad you're here and thank you very much for tuning in once again. You guys make it happen when you listen to this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, so when you look at life, life is full of challenges and unknowns, and the ability to take up and go through the risks makes a man. We must be ready to take up the challenges that life poses with firm conviction, courage and determination. Otherwise, one will end up defeated and dejected in life. Let's look at God. God is a wonderful teacher. Many times he raises men and women whose lives illustrate the principles and virtues he wants to imbibe in us. So one of such women was Ruth. So when you look at Ruth in the Bible, in the book of Ruth, Ruth was a Moabite, raised and nurtured in idolatrous Moab, and nurtured in the worship of Chemosh, the god of the Moabites. So the background of Ruth, even the coming in of the Moabites, where she comes from, you find that if you know the story of Lot and his two daughters, they got him drunk and they slept with him. And one of the children who was born from that act was Moab, who became the father of the Moabites. So even her origin was from an abomination act. You see that one? So the Moabites again were a nation that was cursed and death hanging on them. When the children of Israel were coming from Egypt into the promised land, you find that the Moabites stood against them, and this led to them being cursed by God. So, considering Ruth's ancestry, she was an unlikely figure for God to use. This is why the story of her life is a monument to God's amazing grace. When Ruth got in contact with the God of Israel, it was through the marriage of one of the sons of Naomi and Elimelech. You find that she got married to them, and it's through that contact we can get the idea that she got to know about the God of Israel. And the husband died, both her and Orpah. And now they were going back again to the land of Israel when they heard that God had visited the people. We find an interesting statement that Ruth came to make in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16 to 17. Here was a time that Ruth, Naomi and Orpah were going back to the land of Israel. And Naomi told them to go back to their gods and to their people. Orpah decided to leave, but Ruth made a firm statement that she would not leave. Let's look at it. I'm using the Message translation. But Ruth said, "Don't force me to leave you. Don't make me go home. Where you go, I go. And where you live, I'll live. Your people are my people. Your God is my God. Where you die, I'll die. And that's where I'll be buried. So help me God. Not even death itself is going to come between us." Such a bold statement by this woman, not deciding to turn away from God anymore, but to walk in his ways after coming in contact with him. Just a quick one, we look at three things that we get to learn from Ruth. Number one, no human is beyond redemption. It does not matter how deep or how far you have gone in sinning. If you will come to God with a repentant heart, he will forgive you. The life of Ruth is such. I have explained on her history, and yet God used her in such a way that even the lineage of Jesus Christ comes from this woman. Number two, Make God your focus. The greatest problem that many people, have is not the calamities that befall them, but the fact that they have a wrong perspective and attitude towards life. If only you and me will change our direction and our attention and place it on God and have Him at the center of our life, it shall be well. And lastly, we need to be industrious. Hard work is dignifying. Ruth, like the virtuous woman of Proverbs 31, was not lazy. A lazy woman in the same circumstances that Ruth had to undergo would have sat around complaining about her lot in life. But we see Ruth, even though she lost her husband, even though she had a difficult background, she still was industrious, and through her work she met Boaz, and we know the story after that if you look at Ruth. So the overall lesson I want us to get is that God is an amazing God. He's full of love and mercy. If only you and I will turn to Him, He will bless us and help us. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a productive week.